Back to my channel. We're going to do an unboxing of the Iflight Sing motor. It's a 1206 4500 kV, and this is a Nano. Little foam pad to protect the top edge of the motors that are sticking out of the foam a little bit, and another pad in the bottom. Little ring of paper to tell you what's in it, I guess. And then we have two motors, and it looks like two baggies. It looks like each motor gets its own baggie. Okay, so there's some longer and shorter ones in there. There's two longer ones for your props, and then 4 short ones for your motor mounting. So that's kind of good. They give you some screws to put some props on and retain it to your quadcopter. I will be using these props. Just real quick, I'm going to have a video coming out comparing these 1206 4500 motors to my old 1106 SkyStars motors. So I'm going to do some comparison and then some flight video to see if there's a significant difference. These are really notchy 1106, and these 1206 are really smooth. You can feel the notchiness of them, but nowhere near what this one is. So they feel really smooth. I think we're going to be looking at maybe a cooler and longer flight time. Okay, so check out that video coming soon. So the motor wire for a Nano, I mean, they're classifying this as Nano. I just want you to look at the wire. I don't know if you can see this here, but you can see that wire is a bit thinner. Okay. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of that wire. Is 95 millimeters. So you got 95 millimeters of wire from the end of this insulation to the end of that solder point. So for a 3-inch frame, which this is a 3-inch frame, the motor wires are plenty long enough to pretty much wrap around the inside. I mean, you could put this on a 4-inch frame. I don't know if you could stretch it out on a 5-incher or not. I'll tell you what, it'd be close, but you could almost stretch that wire out on a 5-inch quad. Pretty long wire. I know my 1106, they were just a little bit longer than that, but not much, maybe a millimeter or two. So you can see it's a pretty good amount of wire. Let's get a weight of one motor, and then we'll get a weight with its hardware. Okay, with the long wire, we're at 8.52 grams. And then this baggie contains the set of screws that you'll need to mount it. So 962. So a fair weight. All right, we'll get a close-up look here. Okay, as you can see, the mounting, I'm not a huge fan that they only gave 2 points to mount your prop. Basically every motor I've ever used had 4. And that's kind of nice in case you strip out one, you still have, another set. So they only give you two mounting points for your propeller. So I would say that would be a con. The bell itself is kind of a mushroom rounded shape. The magnets inside are curved. So there's 12 magnets inside, and they are curved. And it looks like we do have underneath this little bushing here, there's a bearing. So that's good. They have a fair amount of glue here holding on the motor wire insulation, but there's no other retaining in here at all. Just that glue right there. Down inside there's a bit of a cavity that goes down in there. So when you put your screws in here to mount your props, you shouldn't have any issues with running into your windings. So there's quite a bit of space under that. I know a lot of times you see some of these motors that are squashed down pretty good, and you protrude your prop screw just a little bit too much, you get into your windings. And then the underside, the base, you can see that you're not going to really have an issue with the back two here. And the front, I just want to show you through this hole. Can you see that there's a wire right in front of that hole? So as soon as you put your motor screw down through there, that wire is basically right there. So you really can't put very much thread through the top of that. There's a fair amount of space between here, but if you look through that hole, that wire is right there. And then on the other side, it's the same way. So just be careful on how thick of or how long of a screw you use, because if you go past that base very much, you're going to be into these winding wires. The back two are fine. You can go quite a ways up through there. Just mounting it on a frame, you can kind of see a little bit better. This frame is a 3mm thick. It's a 3mm thick frame, but you can see that screw protrudes up just a little bit. And then over here, can you see that where it just protrudes up a little bit? It's touching that wire. So I'm not a real big fan of that. I know on a lot of the other motors that I have, I don't have that issue. The motor wires come out in front of where you mount it. With these Iflight motors, that wire is right over top of that hole on both sides. And I feel like that's kind of a sloppy design. Because if you run your screw up through there and you just a little bit of protrusion, you're going to end up threading into the edge of that wire right there. So that's kind of a downfall. So I guess before flying it, the two holes for your props, if you strip one, you're screwed. And then that screw protruding up through there even a little bit as the threads are touching the edge of that insulation. So kind of a bummer on that, but time will tell whether or not they'll do. I mean, I've got hundreds of battery packs through these 1106 motors, and unfortunately I crashed it in gravel and just cracked one of the magnets. And other than that, they were still rocking. So we'll see what the test of time is on these. Motor mounting is the 9mm. So this will fit your 9mm mounting points. And the frame that I'm using, it does 9, and it also does 12mm mounting points. We'll have to see how it performs. I actually have the GEP RC 1206 4500 kV motors on another 3-inch build that I did. So I'm interested to see what I think of this motor. As far as the windings and everything, they look really nice and tight. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting in here and getting a chance to fly this and see what it does. The prop that you'll have to choose this shaft here is 1.5mm. So like this is a HQ 3x2 bi-blade prop. The center hole is 1.5mm. Okay, so there's a lot of props out there that are 2mm receiving hole for your propeller shaft. The shaft on this is 1.5mm, so it'll run a lot of your smaller props. The overall height of the bell is 10mm tall, and the diameter is 18mm. The bottom plate, all the way to the top of the shaft, is 20mm tall, and then the base plate is 2mm thick. So there's 4 mounting places here, and they are 2mm screws. And these are also 2mm. So yeah, all in all, it seems like they're pretty smooth. So we'll get those on our build here, and we'll see how this thing acts differently. I already have a flight video on this, so if you want to check that out. So we'll go ahead and get those motors on, get these props, and take it out for a flight. All right, so I just kind of want to give you a little taste of what this thing can do. I apologize, it's rained, and I mean it has rained for I don't know how long, and it's still raining. So just kind of give you an idea of what they sound like. You hear that little bit of vibration? I'll show you that in a second. I'm not a huge fan of that. One of these motors has a little bit of play in the bearing. Yeah, this I don't have any space to fly around here. And I can show you in about a 6x6 square. At least you can hear it. Just thought I'd jump over here to the bench real quick and show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So all 4 motors, these three motors are fine. I don't have any play. But this motor right here, if I just push in and pull in on that C-clamp is in the correct spot. It's in the groove that they've cut. But that motor is vibrating up and down at such a frequency. That sound that you're hearing is that motor. These motors, I haven't crashed or anything. I just put these motors on. So that little bit of play in there is causing a vibration I don't much care for, and I'm not real thrilled about that. That's not something that I've experienced. You know, here's a GEP RC motor, okay? Same statistics. It's a 1206 4500 kV motor. And I've got a handful of these, and this is a spare. But I've had no issues with those bells moving around on there. They're tight as can be. So I'm a little I don't know, having those 2 motor mount prop mounts only, and then the screw coming through touching that wire right there on both sides on the I guess you could call it the front side, and then this having some play in it has got me a little bit concerned about the quality of that motor. I'll contact Iflight and tell them about that, but that shouldn't be there. These other 3 are tight as can be. There's no play on them. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. So if you have a lot of vibration going on, you know, check that play. That shouldn't be there. But the rest of this build is quiet as a mouse. I mean, there's no vibrations. So it is what it is. But hey, I really appreciate you checking out my channel. I hope that this unboxing video was useful to you. And you know, I really wanted to get a little bit of flight in there and let you hear what this thing sounds like. You know, be able to kind of get something in this video, because it is just absolutely soggy out. So I appreciate you checking out my channel. I appreciate you subscribing. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. It all works. So enjoy the breeze.